Okay, so in this classroom, we are dealing with a project which is the digit recognition project. Okay, so before starting this project, I want to show you that project. What exactly the digit recognition project is this? Okay, so when I go to this GitHub account, and if you go to the repository section, here you see a folder. Let me. Okay, so just me 1 second because my this laptop. Just 1 second. It is loading some images. Okay, let me download this entire project. Just copy this code, and I'm going to download in my local computer because this is like a complete project which I'm going to discuss in this classroom. So let me download desktop and I'm going to be download git clone and just paste the link and I'm going to press enter. After running this command, all this entire code is downloading in my desktop. Don't worry, I will share these things with you. This is actually public repo. Okay, you have to go to my profile and you can download the entire project. So in my last class, we have done the deep learning, intro deep learning. If you are understanding that classroom, it is very easy to understand this project. But let me show what this project is. So, okay. So now I'm going to open this project, just like this name is Digital Organization Project in my Visual Studio Code. If you don't know how to open any folder in Visual Studio Code, just open the Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is an ID where you can open any folder. Just go to the file section, open folder, and you have to go to the location, find the location of the folder. So right now your location in the folder in desktop and the studio name is this. Okay, it is very easy to open. So this is the folder, all these files are there. Don't worry, I will explain everything how we create this type of folder very easily. Okay, so in this project you have seen, just 1 second, just 1 second. Okay, so I am going to open a terminal. This is the terminal, and just open the bash section. So this is the terminal. Okay, so here you see this is the all the file and folder are there. So now I'm going to write something which is like new for you, but don't worry, I will explain everything. But let me run this file first. So we need to install this all this library which is required for this project. But before that, we have to create a virtual environment. So let me find the way how to create the virtual environment. So I'm going to write a flask. In the Flash documentation, there is some command to create the virtual environment. Okay. So basically, if I am using the Mac OS or Linux, this is my command. Right now, I am using the Mac OS. If you are using Windows, you have to use this command. So I am going to use this command Python 3, and I am going to add this command here. Basically, when I write this command, what is the meaning of this command? So let me open this first. Why I am creating a virtual environment and why we need to create a virtual environment. Suppose you want to be write some Node.js code or Java code. So you have to install something. So for Node.js, you have to install Node.js in your operating system such as OS or like Linux or Mac OS. So for the running Java, you have to install Java JDK. Okay. For running Python, you have to install Python. So everyone know about that. But problem is, suppose you are creating a project, machine learning project. Okay. So suppose this project need NumPy as a library. and you are creating this project in your local computer. Okay, you are creating this project in your local computer. So you will install NumPy in your local computer, you will install Python in your local computer, you will install what, TensorFlow in your local computer. Suppose you will install sklearn in your local computer. So it is very like you need to be install multiple things, and also you need to be understand their version. Suppose you are using TensorFlow 1 or you are using a sklearn 2, but in the next project, say second project, you are using NumPy, you are using Python, or you are using TensorFlow 2. So you already installed TensorFlow 1, you are not able to install TensorFlow 2. Either you have to upgrade it or replace this. And again, suppose you are going to be installed third project, which is use TensorFlow 1. So that's why it's not good to be install all this library and dependency again and again in a local computer. So that's why we will do what? We will create virtual environment. Okay, what is the meaning of virtual environment? So basically, suppose this is your operating system. Operating system. You will create, you will install all this library. Yes, it is possible. But before installing this library, you will create a virtual environment. Suppose this virtual environment is env1. This virtual environment is env2. This virtual environment called env3. Suppose this in this environment you are creating project 1, and this project only need NumPy and TensorFlow. So you only install these two libraries, not sklearn and another thing library. Suppose this library only use NumPy and Matplotlib. So you will only install this library and all. After the project completed, after the project presentation completed, you will delete this virtual environment. So it is very easy to handle. So mostly machine learning engineer create virtual environment, and they will install other library separately. So that's why suppose you are creating virtual environment under this folder, and this is the command Python 3m, and we are creating a virtual environment and we are creating a folder VLV. So after running this command, you will get a folder here, virtual environment. Okay, and after getting this, after installing the virtual environment, you need to be activate this. So this is the command to activate this. So I am going to run this command activate, and after running the activate, you will see that something is added here. This is meaning you are creating, you are running the you are installing virtual environment, and you are going to install any library required for this folder. Right now there need to install TensorFlow, Flask and NumPy. Okay, so you can install this library and file very easily, like pip install NumPy. So this is a command, pip install NumPy, pip install NumPy. So now I am going to install NumPy. Okay, suppose I need to install Flask, pip install Flask. You are going to install Pillow. Pillow is a different library, Pillow, and you are going to install TensorFlow. TensorFlow is like this size, their size is little bit larger, so it will take some minute. Its size around 2243 MB. But wait some time, it will install. Don't scared about all this file. I will explain everything. But let me demo the project, that how this project looks like. And guys, one more thing, EduVitae posts something about the certification. Please go and fill the form. They will provide a certificate. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can put your question on the Google Classroom on the same post. Just 1 second, everyone. Don't worry guys, it will take some minutes, because we are using local local computer. So that's why you need to install all this library. In my previous classes, I am using like Colab, and you know Colab is like a cloud notebook where you can write anything very easily. Okay, now everything has had to install, I guess. So now we have to run. So for running this file, I need to be run this app.py. Why I am running this app.py, I will explain it, but let me run this. So I am going to like Python app.py. Just one second. Why this is not working? Oh, sorry, spelling mistake. Yeah, it's taking time, but I guess it is has been started. Okay, now this is the code. Like this is the link they are providing. So I'm going to copy this link. This error is coming because I'm using Mac and this TensorFlow not configured for my laptop. So I'm going to paste this and they will open the website. This is your project. This project is like whatever I'm going to write, this will predict what is exactly is it. Suppose I'm going to write 3. When I click the predict, they are telling this is 3. Suppose I'm going to write 4. They'll predict this is 4 or 7. Sometimes they are returning wrong because my model is not too good. But this is providing. Suppose I'm going to write 2. This is predict 2. So sometimes they are predicting right, sometimes predicting wrong. It is happening with the machine learning model. If you want to optimize, it will be you can optimize this. So today we are going to discuss how we create this type of project. So you see this project is open in a website format. There is a button, there is something like that. And suppose I'm going to pass like 2. This is predict 2 or 7. Oh, 5. Some model, some data is not. Again 7. Yeah, 9. Sometimes it's predicting wrong. So guys, you see how we create this project. Okay. So today we are going to discuss this project in my classroom. So now I am going to discuss one by one file again and again with this code. First, so now let me understand this project. Okay, you see this is the nothing. This is a machine deep learning project, and don't worry, I will explain everything. So let me explain this project first. So now you are going to create. You are going. Oh, sorry. You are going to create a project is called digit recognition. So let's understand what is the meaning of digit recognition. Digit recognition is a project, machine learning project, and where you can write any number between 0 to 9, like 9, they will predict this is 9. Suppose you are writing 3, you will predict this is 3. So this is a very beautiful project. This is the project is like similar to the computer vision project. Okay, so in this case we are going to deal with that. Okay, you know, in the machine learning and deep learning there is a basic approach. What is the approach? Yet follow this graph. Okay, this graph is nothing. This graph is needs inputs and outputs. This input output generate a program, and this program, if you have new input, you will get the output. Here output is nothing, your prediction, and this is your model. Basically you are going to create this model is a neural network model because this is a deep learning project. So we are going to create this neural network model. This is the project. Here input is nothing. Here input is a collection of image. Okay, and output is nothing. Output is single number. Like for this image, for this x1, this is y1, and y1 is like 3. Suppose this is x2, and this is y is like 5, y is like 3, and so on. So basically your data set contain x and y. In x in in the input you are containing an image, and output is 3. Okay, this is the image input and output. So how this neural network use this input, which is an image, how this input uses image? Because if you are new, you can consider image nothing. Image is a JPG or PNG. You would know that. But in this classroom, I will explain image is nothing. Image is a collection of number. Okay, how? Basically what? So suppose you are going to use a neural network as a model. as a model. Okay, so basically neural network looks like this. Suppose this is a neural network. You already seen my last classroom. Okay, something like that. So your input is image. Okay, how we image passes through this area. This is the first confusion. So basically what is happening, guys, image is nothing. Image is nothing. Suppose this is the image of any person. So you know this is image, but actually in the real world this is an array, okay, or grid, and every grid is a called pixel. Every grid is called pixel. Okay, and this pixel could be a number, suppose like 99, 155 or 210, something like that, or maybe like 0, whatever number. This image is a pixel. Basically image has two types. One is color image, one is a black and white image. One is color image, one is black and white image. So basically guys, basically it is depending on the data set which is image is this. So suppose you are going with the black and white image. So basically your image is nothing. Image is a 2D array, simple 2D array, and every pixel containing a number 99, 102, 105 and so on. But suppose you have an image of black and white image, sorry, color image. So this is also a 2D array, but every array element is containing another array containing 3 numbers like 105, 220 and 115. This color called RGB. This color is called RGB, red, green and blue. And you know how every color in this world can be created by these 3 colors. So color image is nothing. Color image is containing this 2D, and every image is containing this 3 number. And black and white image containing this. Okay. So good thing is that we are using black and white image mostly. If we have any color image, we generally convert this image to the black and white image. Okay, to decreasing the pixel size. So in this case, like digit recognition, we have a data set called Amin's data set. Okay, this Amin's data set containing the image of the character or number, and they are also containing an output of the real number. This image is a collection of pixel or collection of number similar to this. So guys, I hope you understand the data set. If data set is not clear, I will explain later. You understand the meaning of image? Yes or no? Hello? Tell me yes or no. There is any query related to image or pixel? Say on the chat board at least. There is. So now, clear. Everything is clear. Now the second question is, suppose sir, I understand that it is an image of 9 and it is nothing, it is a collection of array, it is a collection of number. Okay, I understand that. And so on. But this is the neural network. How we can use this 2D array as a data set input in the neural network? So basically neural network use this single number every time. So in the input layer, we convert this image to a one-dimensional array. Right now this is a two-dimensional array. We will convert the one-dimensional array. So this number is generally looks like in a one-dimensional, like 105, 102, 98 and so on. Okay, and the dimension size is nothing. Suppose this size is like, it is depending on, suppose this number of row is n and number of column is m, the size of this array is n cross m. Okay, so this is used as a number. Okay, and every number is behave as a x0, x1, x2, x3, x4 and so on. So guys, you understand the input layer or input? Yes or no? Tell me yes or no. There is any issue to understand this input layer? X0, x1. You're converting to two-dimensional array to single dimensional array. Guys, if you have any query, you can ask me. No query? Say yes or no. If you're not understanding this part, I will repeat it again. So I guess it is clear. So now it's clear. The next point. So first is like you are converting an image to an image of pixel, and then you will converting this image in a single dimensional, and then you supposing the every number is a input like x0, x1, x2, x3, and this image is nothing. This is we have as a input layer. Okay, first layer or input layer. Now you will add some layer, more layer, because you want to be optimized. Some layer. Now the next. So now I am adding this. After this, you need the output y. And output y is nothing. Output is like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 9 or 0 maybe. So you know this type of output. Basically this is a part of the classification because you have fixed output. Because handwritten recognition only predict the value between 0 to 9. So here the output is fixed. Either it is 0 or 1 or 2 and 3 and 4 and so and so. So now this is the question. That how we get this value? How we get this value? Which type of thing I am going to add? We get this value. So I guess this is the confusion, but I am going to deal with this confusion. So you understand the input layer? You add some layer, it also good. Now your output is like either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Suppose you add the end. At the end, you adding activation function. So basically there are two activation functions I am dealing with, ReLU and sigmoid. ReLU and sigmoid. So basically suppose I am going to with ReLU. The ReLU generally used for regression. Because they are giving a number, positive number, if x is greater than 0 or 0 if x less than 0. But sigmoid returns 0 to 1. Every time you are getting between the value 0 to 1. So how we can convert the 0 to 1 value with this number? So that's why guys, that's why at the end of the layer we will return 10 neuron. Instead of 1 neuron I am going to return 10 neuron and so on up to 10 neuron. So why I am returning 10 neuron at the end of the layer as an output? So suppose this neuron return 0, this neuron return 0, this neuron return 1 and every return 0 and so on. So this is possible because your output is either 0 or 1. So this is the output, this is possible, this type of output is possible. So suppose you are getting this as an output, as a end of the layer, like 0, 0, 1 and 0, 0 up to the 10 times. So basically 1 is only added, 1 is only in the position of third. Position of third. So if getting the 0 in the position of, second position, 0 index, 1 index and 2 index. So you are considering that the output is 2. Output is 2. This is called the Leibnizing thing. Okay. Means if the output is not, because in the previous classes the output is only 2, either 0 or 1. Yes or no. Here sigmoid function is enough. But suppose your output is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So sigmoid function is not enough. So that's why I am using 10 sigmoid or 4 sigmoid. And suppose this is 0, this is 0, this is 1, this is 0, this is 0. So we are considering if we getting this type of vector, we are considering only 1 in the position of first, second. So output should be 2. Output should be 2. So we are going to create my neural network where where input layer length is number of row and number of column of the image pixel, and output layer is nothing, output layer is 10, because we have 10 number 0 1 2 for the prediction, and we are returning 10, means we are returning not a single number, we are returning a vector where containing number like 0 0 1 0 0 0. If this number is 1 in this position, we are going to suppose this is 2. If the 1 is in this position, is supposing the 4 5, and so on. So guys, this part is clear? Yes or no? Tell me. Okay. Now I am asking the question. Input layer is clear? Yes or no? Input layer. Himanshu. Basically, let's understand this. Neural network is what? Neural network is a layer of neuron. So here we have to pass, and this first layer is called as an input layer. Suppose you have like a feature x1, x2 and y. So basically there are two layers, x1 and x2. So we are considering pass is a x1, x2 is something like that. But here is like we have to understand how many input layer is that. So basically this input layer size is depending upon the size of the image. Suppose we have image who has 28 row and 28 column, and every column, every cell is containing a pixel number. Okay, so basically this is an image, and we will converting this image as a single row, single column, single column, and their size is 28 cross 28, because every number is going to be add like that. So we are considering this is an input layer. This is an input layer. So this is the x1, x2 and x3. Depending on this, we go up to the 28 cross 28 cross time. So this is the input layer. Himanshu, this part is clear? Okay. Now because here for this image, output is the real number. Because if you see this project, if like I am adding 2, they will predict this is 2. If I am adding 7, this is predict 7 or 8, something like that. Okay. So here you see you are passing this image, and this is the output. Output is fixed. Output is like number. So output is like a number. Output is like 7, 8. Basically, at the end of the neuron, this layer is not capable to return 7, 8 and so on. So we will converting this number into a vector. Suppose this is 7. So I am adding a vector whose length is 10. Okay, whose length is 10. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, this is 10. Suppose this is 7. So I am changing the value of 7 things. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we change to value 1. So if this vector is related, this is a vector is compared to the 7. There is, suppose there 1 is here. This vector is value is 1. Suppose 1 is there. This vector is meaning 2. So you know this vector transformation. Do you understand this part? How we represent a single number as a vector format? Himanshu and other people? Okay. So that's why instead of returning a single neuron as a single value, we are returning 10 neuron as output. We are returning single neuron means we are returning 10 neuron. And every neuron, it is returning either 0 or 1, because we are returning, suppose we are getting a value like 0, 0, 1 and all the values 0. So you know 1 in the position of 2. That's why you are predicting 2. Now it's clear, Himanshu? If not, please let me know. Okay. So this is the clear. So here I am going to create a layer neuron. First neuron is the input layer. Last neuron is called output layer. Input layer size is depending upon the image size. Suppose this is 28 cross 28. So this is the 28 cross 28, and output is 10 because we are going to return the vector like which is a 10 vector, and that's why we are adding 10 here. Now I think everything is clear. So now next, come to the code part. So we are going to create a model and train the model. So that's why I am creating a file train.py. So in this like Colab, same, everything is same. I am going to import TensorFlow. And the next line, I am getting a data set. And this data set is coming from this package, which is under the TensorFlow. Okay, data set containing, data set is Amin's data set, and which is under the Keras data set. So this line should be similar to the SQL data set. Okay. They have a function called load data, and they don't need to be split the data set because they are providing the splitted data set by default. So fifth line is telling that. Now tell me, till fifth line there is any confusion? Yes or no? This is simple Python code where you import library, import the data set using the library, and splitting the data set by loading function. This is simple. This is not machine learning. This is a library thing. This part is clear? Yes or no? If no, I am repeat it again. But it should be clear this. At least say yes or no. I am still waiting. If no, I will try to explain it again. Because at least say yes or no, guys. It will take less amount of time. Okay now. So now next line. This is the, because I'm not going to be write this code again and again. This could be the like memorize. After practicing some time, it will be memorized. Basically, this normalized function. What is the meaning of this normalized? So actually, what is happening? Just wait. Let me explain the normalized part. Suppose I am going to be terminate this code and going to comment all the code. I am going to print. I am going to write x train and printing only single number. Let's see what the output. So I am going to running this file. So python.train.py. So it will be running this number. Okay. And you see this number containing some numbers like 3, 18 and so on. Basically this is the pixel value of this number. Okay. If you want to see the shape, so you see the shape. Oh, sorry, I didn't save this one. So 28 cross 28 means every image has a pixel 28 cross 28, and they are providing this. And right now the image pixel value is like 253 and so on. So it is good. It is not a mandatory to transform this value to between 0 to 9. So basically right now your pixel value is bigger, more than like 253, 138 and so on. So basically after this normalized function, which I am going to add in the later code, it will be converted to every number between 0 to 1. Okay, it is very easy. So this two line of code will converting the normalized way. So suppose I am going to print x train again. Let's see what's the output. They are providing 28 cross 28 cross pixel, but every pixel value is transferring to between 0 to 1. And it is better for the computation only. It is not mandatory to do that, but for if you are using deep learning, it is better to use this. No. This part should be clear. It is easy. Now the second first 4-5 layer, which I am going to add, it is like build a model. So basically in this part, which is already C, we have to use sequential function to adding this. So I am going to add the sequential model, and because sequential function is an array containing argument, there have a method called add. Okay, and every add we are going to add the layer. Okay, same as the previous class. But you never seen this flatten. What is the meaning of this flatten? Basically this flatten is a function which convert the data into a single dimensional array. Suppose you are passing the data is 28 cross 28, means two dimensional array you are going to pass. This flatten function convert to a single dimension. So basically it is the operation. So basically your input is like this, two dimensional array. But after the flatten function, it will convert it to a one dimensional array. That's why you can use this function. That's why you can use the data as an input layer. So this flatten function is the same thing. Okay. Now second, it is a dense layer you already seen, where input is like 128. Why I am passing 128? Because flatten is, you already know the size of the image is 28 cross 28. See. So 28 cross 28 is nothing. If you are calculating this 28 cross 28, क्या होता है? No. This is not input layer. Basically, this 128 is nothing. After the flatten, you are going to add 128 neuron. Okay, 128 neuron. Guys, it is not mandatory. You can add any number of neurons. Suppose you are going to add 256. How many? Second layer. How many neuron in second layer? So I am going to add 128. And activation function is a ReLU. Simple like that. Again, the third layer is again the 120 neuron and the ReLU. And fourth or last layer is 10. But activation is softmax. So basically you are little bit confused, sir, why I am using this softmax. I will explain what is the meaning of softmax. And you see, this is your output. Okay. So this layer part should be added like that. So what is the meaning of softmax? Why I am adding this softmax? So let me explain this softmax. So you have seen this ReLU. ReLU convert positive any number to a positive number and negative number convert to 0. Sigmoid function is a function which convert any value to 0.1, 0 to 1. And softmax generally used in a vector. Suppose you are getting a value 0.8 and 0.6. So you have to be convert this value like, after the adding softmax, it is meaning e to the power 0.8 by e to the power 0.8 by e to the power 0.6. And for this, it is like e to the power 0.6 and e to the power 0.6 plus e to the power 0.8. So it is a transformation of a number. So it is doing that. Generally, it is for helping. If you are doing that, it is helping to create transformation, something like that. After the following this equation, your value will transform like this, 0.9 and 0.3. So it is very easy to make a decision. So 0.9 will convert it to a 1 and 0.9 converted to a 0. So but if you don't use softmax, it is very difficult to make the transformation and it will be returning like 1 and 1. Only for handling getting this type of output, we are using softmax. Softmax formula is this. So this is only the mathematical term to converting a number like that. So that's why at the end of the layer I am adding the softmax, because if the value is only 1 at the end, yes or no, true or false, so don't need softmax, where you have to use sigmoid. Clear? This is the part of the softmax. Suppose in my upcoming, suppose in the future you will create a project. Suppose like sleeping detection. People are sleeping or not. So you know there's two output, yes or no. It is sleeping, it is not. So that case you need to use sigmoid instead of softmax. But suppose your output is more than 1 or more than 2 or more than 5 or more than 6, that time you have to use softmax. Clear? You can also use, you can create this model, you can also transform this model. Suppose you want to add one more layer here, like only 10, and here you use, you can add to that. You are adding sigmoid and then softmax. But if you have a 10 output, you should have the softmax. Okay? Now, this part should be clear. Now the next line is very easy. Compile. Parting optimizer is this, and loss function is this, which is new for you. Basically, suppose you are going to create a model for classification, where only two output is possible, either true or false. At that time you have to use binary cross entropy. But if you have like output like 4 then 2 more than 5, they have used a sparse categorical cross entropy. This is a way that you have to understand. If output is more than 2 or 4, you have to use this loss function. If your output is like more only 2, you have to use binary cross entropy loss. You can also use MSE, but MSE provide less accuracy result. Okay, but you have to use this. This part is optional. This part is optional, means if you want to check the accuracies during the training, you can add that. Otherwise, if you ignore this, there not any mistake. Okay, now this compile part is clear. Now this line is called training. This now is called started the training. Okay, you know about this fit function where epoch is added. Now the next line is nothing simple to check, oh, the model is working good or best. It is also the optional code. It is also optional code. Okay. But the problem is, suppose you are going to create a project. You are going to create a project, and this project need a machine learning model, and you are invest 4 days or maybe 20 hours for training. Means right now this for running this fit functions for some project, it will take 20 hours or 40 hours. Okay, and you will evaluate. If the model is okay, you can see this. So problem is, suppose you will get, so you can predict the model, you can predict anything by using that model. But the problem is, suppose you want to share this model with other people. The problem is they will train again for 20 hours. So that's why instead of sharing the code, you can share the trained model. You're going to share the trained model. Means it is the meaning of simple example. Suppose you have you have need a bodyguard. Okay, you adopt a baby. Okay, baby, and you take care of the baby, and you put some food and all, and after the 20 years they have bodybuilder, and this person may guide you, means behave like a bodyguard to you. But suppose other person, your cousin, you want bodyguard, so you don't tell that you have to adopt the baby and so on. You directly send this bodyguard to these people, and they are working as simple bodyguard. So same again means you need to be save this model. So that's why we have, for training again and again, we have saved this model as this model as 5 extension, and that's why other people can directly use this model without training it again. Clear? So now everything has been should be clear. If there is any confusion to understand this line of any code, please let me know. Say yes or no. I guess no problem. So now the model training is that. So when you start this training, because I'm not going to train, because if I train the train this model and stream this class, so my laptop should be hang. I don't know why. So I'm not going to train this class. But if you train this file, they will create a folder. Okay, this. They will create a file model.h file, because I have saved this one. And this is the model. So you can directly test this model very easily. Suppose you have saved this model as an extension of h5. Now you are going to save this model or test this model. So same as I am going to import this important library and dataset and so on. So now in this line of code you have save this model. But next time you have to see how to load this model. So for loading this model, you have to use keras load model function, which is under the models, under the keras, and this you have to pass the file name, the model name. And it is like similar to this model, train model. Okay, which is similar to this model. And now just ignore this file. Okay, now, oh again, why this is similar to this model, and now we need to predict. Okay, we need to be predict. So suppose suppose you are going to, you have a data set also. So this is a X state data set. Okay, so suppose, let me just 1 second, let print X set 67. Okay, and print, okay, let's see, not X6, Y test. So when you see X667 and you run it, so you see this is 4, means for X test 67 index value has image which value is 4. So now I'm going to predict this. Now I'm going to predict this. Okay. So I'm going to predict this. Why we receive this function? Basically, this predict function need two dimensions. Means this predict function argument has used like multiple image in the multiple image, adding using argument is multiple image, but we are predicting on a single image. That's why I'm transforming to 28 plus 28 to a 128 128. Only for prediction we are doing this. Now suppose I want to see console log, not console log. Let's see. Suppose I'm going to run this. What the output is this? For this image, output is this. Output is this x 7.8 and something like that. Okay, but I want to output 4 now. So we are, because we are getting this value by softmax, we can easily get the maximum value. So I am going to be at this line of code which numpy argmax, which index has maximum value in this array, they are returning this value, and see the output is 4. This why this is the model prediction work, because I am not using real images, because I didn't have this image low dimensional images, but when I adding this image in this model, also first this type of thing you are going to predict the model, predict the output. Okay, so now there's something like very not easy to understand, but if you're going slowly and try to understand the like flow, that you understand this digit recognition model very easily. Don't see this project, don't see this website. I will come this website again, but you have to understand this model part. Now tell me which part is not clear. You have to memorize what? First is you have to be understand that this is simple model which already run in the Colab. I am adding this. I am adding optimizer. I am everything. The new thing is like saving this model. Okay, saving this model. And this is a function, model.save is a function to have to save this model. And very easy to load this model by using this model, and TensorFlow has a load more function. You have to load this model. Predict function is already discussed. This transformation is only useful because we are predicting the single image. And this argmax function is a function we have to find maximum value, which find the index value, we have to see the maximum value, and this is the value. Now it's clear, guys. Any more question? Now next. So means your model has been trained, everything has been trained. So I want to deploy this model. I want to deploy this model. Deployment means I want to use this model as a website, as an app, as a something like that. So deployment is not too difficult. Only you have to install a library called Flask. Flask is a web framework written in the Python. Okay. If you know some basic level of this is a Flask. This Flask is like a simple library, like where you can create a website. Okay. Now for next 5 to 10 minutes, ignore the machine learning and deep learning. Ignore this machine learning and deep learning. Now focus on that, how we create a website using Flask. So Flask is like so Flask, we are creating a new virtual environment and installing this Flask and so on. So suppose you have to create single file called app.py. Okay, and this app.py, so suppose I'm going to ignore all this code, forget about all this code or remove it, and also forget about all this in other library. Now this is the Flask. So basically Flask is like creating a web framework. So you have to import the Flask, and there are some, just one second everyone. Okay, this Flask is like a single library, and this is a way I have to add the Flask like in the Python in the app. And suppose you want to be add a link to the Flask. Suppose you have this link and I'm returning hello world. Let me run this Python app.py. So this is the link. If you go to the website, this website, they are returning hello world, because in this link they are returning this. Suppose I want to add more link, so yeah, I have to add like that. And suppose I'm going to add Amin, and I'm going to return Amin worlds. So if you refresh this page, oh sorry, same function not hello world. If you write Amin's world, so this you have to add this file. So basically in the root file I'm adding index.html. So for this, if you want to return some file, HTML file, you have to do this render element function. A render element function is important from the Flask also. Okay, and this is why. If you save this, if you go to the root file, it is the website. Now, so in this page, I am designing template folder, and inside the template folder, I am designing the website. So, how many people know some HTML part in this classroom? How many people already know the HTML part? Anyone know anything about the HTML and CSS? Okay, because this is project of mine, that's why I am creating this UI, this like that. But if you want to be create this, if you want to be like confused about this CSS part, suppose I'm going to ignore this style part. This website looks like this. Okay, this website looks like this. So I am here, write 2 and click the predict button, because I am removing some code. See, this 2 is the output. This 2 is the output. So here guys, in this HTML page, I am creating 2 things. I am adding button, I am adding 2 button, I am adding a text field. So here I am adding 1 button here, I am adding the other button is here. I am adding like a prediction text here, and I am going to add the text is here from the customer. If you know anything about the HTML can control by the ID with the JavaScript. So this is the file, and this file also contain a JavaScript file. Okay, so basically JavaScript file is what? There's some code is like related to for the canvas like this. If you know something about JavaScript, you can be easy to understand this. But I'm not going to explain this part because this is not a JavaScript class. But if you understand, when you predict something, it is getting the image from this canvas. So when I click the predict, so go to HTML page. So when I click the prediction button, so go to the prediction button, and you see prediction button is this, and this button is like that. So when you click the prediction, so prediction dot, just one second. Oh, add is, when I click this predict button, it calls this predict digit function. And the predict digit function is nothing, it is getting the image from the canvas. Okay, canvas is like this background black and white color, and this image has sent to be another API like this, and this API is created in this format. Okay, and this API is created in this format. So first, if you go to this function, this image is retrieving from this link in the first code, and then you have to transform this image because you are getting a form of image of JPG and PNG. Okay, then you have to transform this image. Okay, and then also because you are imaging okay, no, don't need to be convert any RGB because you are using red and green color. So this is the converted to transform image. Okay, so if you predict something and you like print the image, okay, when I do I predict, so just one second, so I am passing 2, so okay, they are predicting this image. Okay, they are predicting this image. Now we are converting this image to a convert L. This L function is what? Right now this image is like this, but if you passing this convert L, so basically it will convert this image to this format. Background is white and 2 is looking like in black and white. So only this L function is converted to this format. Background is white and text is in the black color. And now we have to resize this image. Okay, if you print image here, now I'm clicking the predict. So okay, now after the resizing this image, we have to convert this image in a number because this you are in the PNG and NPG format. So this is a way that you have to convert a number. So guys, I added the comment in this every project, so you can understand every line of code very easily. So here you see image in this part. Now see, after that image you will get a number, and see this is a big number. It is getting from this image. Okay. Now next you have to resize this image or receive this image because you want to be sent to this image to the next input and this. And now you have to transform this image. So that's why you have to divide it by 255. Every number divided by 255. That it will be converted to image to 0 to 1. And every line of code is very easy. So you pass this function to predict model, and model is same as loaded like in a test way, like model dot load this 5, and you have to predict this model. Also this model return a argument 10 return this a vector, and same as the argmax function it return a value and send this value to this as an output. And now because this value is retrieving to this prediction, and we by using the HTML you can handle that. So if you clear this part, if you're writing 7 predict, if you write 7 something like that. So right now I am using only 3 layer, that's why their model not predicting the right, but you can modify and test with different number, maybe that time they will providing better result, better result. And if you want to some style, so you can write the CSS code for make the style. We are not going to use CSS and front-end development, so I'm not going to discuss this CSS part. But I'm sharing this code, and code has explained every line of code very easily, so that you can understand everything. But anyway, if you have any query to understand this entire code, you can share the thought in the Google Classroom. Okay, and you can understand it. How many people want this code? किनको किनको code चाहिए? Okay, any more question guys?